Hello and welcome to another episode of Mother Bitcoin. See this here? Yeah, that there? That's not a sexually transmitted disease. No. That is from shaving in a bathtub. Yep. When I was sitting in a bathtub, true story, I felt very comfortable and I was feeling footloose and fancy free, and I put Bromer soap all over my face to shave my beard because my beard grows quite quickly. I took an old razor I got from the dollar store in America, Ground Zero, the home of 9/11, Ameridet, and I put it to my face and I began to stroke my face, and the very first stroke, the razor blade ate my skin and I began bleeding profusely. I bled. I spat outside of the tub, and I went, I thought to myself, holy shit, I'm bleeding profusely. So that was about 5 days ago or 6 days ago, and since then I recorded a little music and so forth, and every time someone sees me, they just look at that there and they figure that I'm kind of a rotten cockroach type with a lot of sexually transmitted diseases living in my spinal fluids. But no, that's not the case. Okay, it's a beautiful day here in unnamed country Asia. Soon to be another unnamed country Asia, for all the haters that I comment to and the online Bitcoin influencers. There are some that I defend and some that I endorse. Oh, sorry, that was my chair. On to Bitcoin. When you own Bitcoin, keep a strong hand. Don't be scared. The bottom I predicted at 6,900, and it hit there 3 times now. Typically, when the price of Bitcoin hits 6,900 at this day and age, that's the new bottom. The previous bottom 1 year ago was 3,500. So, as per usual, we're achieving higher lows in the bottom of Bitcoin. Let's talk for a moment about a London bank that's opening up Q1 2020. There's a bank in London. This bank is going to offer us fiat US dollars, English pounds, Japanese yen, renminbi, Chinese renminbi, and Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies, all being available in one bank, backed by the FDIC, but that doesn't matter much. But that's coming, and that's brand new news. In other news in Bitcoin, thank you. I'm drinking a beer. I don't drink, and I don't endorse drinking or smoking, but sometimes I have a beer. I just spent a few hours kicking the foot bag and running around a park and chasing boys in tight shorts. Oh my God. It's so good. It makes my balls tickle. Okay, so back to Bitcoin. Another interesting thing in the news lately is the fact that, well, to me, I found it interesting was I called the bottom Bitcoin's low price at 6,900. Again, it hit there 3 times. So basically, if you're buying Satoshis, which is portions of Bitcoin, you could buy 50 US dollars, 30 US dollars. You're just trying to buy one full Bitcoin or portions of a Bitcoin. I like to remind people of this, and I've mentioned it before, owning one full Bitcoin you will be regarded, or that person will be regarded as a very wealthy person in the not so distant future. So it should be the goal of every common man and woman to attempt to own one full Bitcoin. In other news, recently America bombed and killed an Iranian leader, and there was a big reaction to it in Iran. Now this was the plan. It's a playbook. It's like if you're a football team or you run a business. America is a business, and they have a business schedule, just like any large business or corporation. And they have things they want to do. So obviously attacking Iran in 2020 was on the schedule or on the menu, and they did so. The problem and interesting part of this is instigating or bombing someone or like punching someone in the face. Iran happens to have a country, just a small, relatively unknown and weak country called Russia, who has a superior military to the United States, who backs Iran. Now, Iran is one of about a few countries left that do not use the central banking system. What do I mean by that? In the year 2000, there were 7 countries that did not use the Rothschild central banking system.
2000年的时候，有7个国家，他们不想用那个中央银行的系统，大概7个国家。这些国家是 Cuba. What were the countries? These 7 countries were Cuba, Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, also North Korea. And what's really interesting about these things, Libya as well. And what's interesting about this is most of these countries, that was in the year 2000, we're down to 3 now, by the way, 3 or 4. All of these countries are under attack by the United States. And do you think, it's a test time for the listeners, the 15 listeners that I have in Mother Bitcoin, do you think the United States is attacking these countries because they want to spread freedom? Or, that's A, or B, are they attacking these countries simply because they refuse to use the Rothschild central banking system in which they can control countries' interest rates and the printing of money? If you answered spreading democracy to these countries, you would be wrong. The correct answer to this question is yes, they attack these countries. As they go down the list and check off the list of countries, Syria was one of the countries they said they wanted to attack. People can do their due diligence and research and find out that everything I'm saying is true in Uncle Google, if you happen to have the time. But that's why I do Mother Bitcoin. That's why I do this program, is to afford people, while people are busy working and raising children and so forth, I have the time to research and do more due diligence and to try to bring people the news without them having to do all the research. But please, if there's anything I ever say that anyone doubts, please research it yourself, read some books. I'd like to recommend a couple of books here that got me started. Maybe they're older books now. I love books. I still read books. I don't read them as often as I used to. I do most of my work online because you could get many more perspectives than just one perspective from the writer of that book, if that makes any sense. But The Monster of Jekyll Island by C. Edward Griffin, an excellent book. It explains how the Federal Reserve was established in 1912 on Christmas night, and the IRS was also established, and how they eventually brought us to World War I the following year by no accident or at all, not by coincidence. And then you have the Confessions of an Economic Hitman, which is an excellent book. Confessions of an Economic Hitman was the first book I read when I began to go down the rabbit hole of, I'll call it modern reality, and the awakening of what's really what we're dealing with, which is a mafia that controls the Fed. The Fed is controlled by a collection of private banks, private European banking families predominantly, and American. Other things to make note of. So you've got Bitcoin sitting now at about 7,300. It touched up to 7,500, a little more. Went down to 6,900, 6,850. But I was right in saying that Bitcoin's bottom is 6,900. Now I ask you, what do you have to lose by buying Bitcoin and helping humanity while helping oneself? What do you have to lose? Without me being long-winded as I usually am, talking about how fantastic Bitcoin is and how it preserves human freedom, and how paper fiat money is designed to lose value consistently year after year. This isn't contested by the people who print the money. They don't pretend this isn't true. Everyone should do themselves a quick favor and go online, go to YouTube, and type in Alan Greenspan explains the Federal Reserve. Yeah. Wars are backed by central banks. Do you want out from under this horrible situation in which we all live? Do you want out from under war? if you're a child in the Middle East and you lost your mom and dad, or you're a Palestinian kid whose house has been taken away from your family after owning it in the family for literally hundreds, if not thousands of years, irrelevant in whether you believe that Israel should exist or that's whose country it is, it doesn't matter. The fact is you've got the world's most powerful countries, England and the United States, are ripping land away from Palestinians. I mean, this is unthinkable. And I'm not taking a side because I know this is a hot button issue. I don't want to talk about that. I'd rather talk about just fairness. Just fairness, just simple fairness. When families own houses for hundreds of years, they should continue to own that house and be respected. Human rights. Now, if we're going by the same template as they do in Palestine, then every person in the United States any real estate owned, they owe all of their real estate and all their wealth to whom? To the Indians. Yes. We all own the United States, the people of the United States, all that land, if you're using the template in which they use for Israel, okay? Because they said 2,000 years ago the Jews owned that land. If that's true and we're all going by that same standard and same template, then all of the Americans need to give all their land to the Indians. The northern Indians, the northern Indians that migrated mostly from Mongolia over the Bering Land Strait, okay? The Bering Land Strait, Alaska, it took hundreds of years possibly, and they migrated. The initial northern Indians were northern Chinese Mongolians. And when you hear "hao" means hello in the language of the Indians they used to speak, we all know that meant hello. Well, isn't it kind of coincidental that ni hao, hao, is hello in Chinese today, in Mandarin, a language that's hundreds if not thousands of years old? What are the odds? Dahu, that means big lake in Chinese. Well, Lake Tahoe means big lake because the Indians founded it. So all of the Americans owe your land. If you support, if you think all the Palestinians should lose their land, then I want all the Americans that believe that to please quickly give your land to any Indian you may know. Because it was theirs only 200 years ago, not 2,000 years ago. And again, you may think I'm taking a side or I'm bitter about this or that. I'm not. I'm just speaking in facts here, in factualities. Please do your own research, do your own due diligence. Strong hands, Bitcoin hands, strong hands. Bitcoin's a baby. Let me give you all another quick example because I don't want this video to be too long. A quick example. If you took all of the world's assets and finances and derivatives and all these, what we consider money, okay, assets, I'm gonna ask you a quick question. Why do JP Morgan Stanley and the banks all over the world, the central banks who own so much gold, why do they actively suppress the price of gold? Why? Because that enables them to focus on what they dominate from the most, which is the printing of paper currency and the typing of currency. They do this for free. Gold is cost inducive. It induces many costs. You get a bar of gold, you don't know if there's tungsten in it. You can prove the purity of any Bitcoin. You can send it across the world to buy a home in Russia, Christmas night on Sunday, the Sabbath. You can do anything with it. Can you do that with gold? Try getting through the airport with $100,000 in gold. Good luck, it's very heavy. And then custodian, if you want to custodial your gold, you want to hide it, you're gonna have to hide it. You want to buy some bread for it? Well, that's fungibility. What are you gonna do? Take a razor blade and try to get a meager percentage of gold off of a coin so you can be able to buy some bread to eat with it? No. The world doesn't go backwards. Humans and technology go hand in hand forward. The future is Bitcoin. There are only 21 million of them. 5 million have been lost forever. If you don't believe me, you're asleep. So why do they actively repress the price of gold? To make their paper digital money scam more effective. They own your ass.
and they own my ass. You want to free the world? You want to benefit from it? Buy Bitcoin. It's been alive for 11 years now. January 3rd was Bitcoin's birthday. The Genesis block was mine. You want to learn more about Bitcoin? You want to feel safer about it? Start researching it. Start researching it. You'll come to the same conclusion. All right, thanks for watching. Ciao, ciao. Drink beer. I do.